morning, everyone. I am in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I am driving. I just dropped my best friend Bill off from work, or off to at work, so I could use his car. Very grateful to him for allowing me to do that. I just wanted to blog. I'm not really. I don't know what the protocol is for blogging about negative situations or death or any of that, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So okay, so my mom was put into hospice earlier this week, and I'm in Milwaukee because we're setting up her final plans for everything, like cleaning up the house and getting all that kind of stuff put together, getting her will in order or whatever it is, and part of my task is to come out here and help with the cleanup. And my mom wants to be cremated when she dies, and so one of my jobs is to call the crematorium and set up the financials for that and get that all done. It's a weird situation, but so I flew into Milwaukee late last night, and I'm kind of doing this juggling of getting things planned with my mom and still trying to work, or at least get work schedule stuff done or reallocated, and it's difficult to balance everything, especially working remote. And I've worked remote before for God knows how long, 3 years or so. It becomes more and more difficult as do I need to go? I need to go west. As things happen, or when you're not used to it. I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought a little bit, but anyway, so long and short, I have to do that today. They called me back, and so I have to get all that set up and explain to them that my mom doesn't want a ceremony, she doesn't want a service, she just when the time is right, she wants to be cremated, which I completely respect. I think I want to be cremated too. I just, environmentally speaking, I know that, I don't know. I'm not even going to go into that part. So anyway, but okay, so it got me thinking a lot about death. And, when it comes to heavy emotions, I tend to take the, I'm hungry. I kind of take the logic tack. I'm going to actually go over here. Oh, forgive me. Oh, sharp turn. Okay. So I tend to fall on the basis of logic over getting emotionally crazy. Unless I drink, or unless I finally break down, which doesn't happen very often. But it did this morning. And, so, it's all because of this stupid dream. I was very comfortable with what was happening with my mom. Like, we knew for years that her health was deteriorating, and we knew that she would need special care and things like that, and that when it happens, it'll probably happen fast. But, see, the thing is, a month ago or so, she was put on different treatments for the types of cancer she has. And the doctors are very optimistic, it was 40 treatments or whatever, 4 days a week, radiation, blah, 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 I don't know. But she developed pneumonia, and they put her in a hospice because the hospital that she was admitted to was like, this is long-term care stuff, whatever. Anyway, so the dream I had I was talking to Justin, and thank you, Justin, for listening to me last night a little bit. I didn't really know I wanted to talk about any of that, so I really haven't talked to Tony or any of my friends about a lot of it. I've just really kind of kept it inside, but it wasn't really me talking. I didn't tell anybody anything. What I did was I let him talk, and he just basically talked about his mom and her situation and things like that. So, long and short, I get home after having this nice conversation and a drink or two with Justin, and I fall asleep, and I have what quite possibly could have been the greatest dream ever, at least as far as memories are concerned, if it wasn't for the fact that my mom's situation kept invading it. So, those of you who used to work at ExecPC or maybe George Webb probably know somebody named Jackie Kozlik. I forget what her married name was. She was married to Chuck, but anyway, so she worked with me at ExecPC. I got her the job there. She got into tech support. She kind of wanted to move away from the mechanical blue-collar stuff and get into some white-collar stuff. So I got her the job there, and she did very well there. She fit into the culture very well, and she's an awesome lady, or was an awesome lady. Anyway, she got into a fatal car accident coming home from a Christmas party sponsored by work. Well, not necessarily sponsored, but hosted. And she died. But the dream wasn't actually focused on any of that. It was actually not even a little bit of that. In the dream, I was back in 1998, 1999, maybe 97 even. We were working all together, and for whatever reason, my mind pulled up this memory of the way things were back then. And for those of you that are too young to understand what the internet was like back then, everything was new. There was no YouTube yet. There was ICQ chat messenger programs and AOL Instant Messenger and dial-up, and there was like streaming media was like waiting for a half hour for 3 minutes of a clip to download from, you know, Real Player, which was a thankfully defunct application for streaming media. Anyway, the point here is that eBay back then was brand new. Like, well, I wouldn't say it was brand new, but it was like a new concept in the world. Oh my God, you could put something online, sell it for money, receive that money, and ship the item to them. It was the world's rummage sale. And back then, things were pretty simple. It wasn't a lot of PayPal validation, and there wasn't, they didn't have the staff to actually, you know, micromanage all of the ads. So you could get away with selling a lot of stuff. I mean, there were people out there selling everything from guns and ammunition to various sexual toys, whether they be new or used, or fetish items, or you know, old CDs or bootlegs or copies of software. There was no restrictions. Nobody said, hey, wait a minute, somebody can sue you for this, so we're going to prevent that from happening. So for those of you who don't know about ExecPC, ExecPC was an internet service provider. It was much like AOL or CompuServe or anything, in that you could dial into it and get access to the internet. And we provided an invaluable service to those people because we were cheaper than everybody else. We were local. We had, you know, tech support, and it was a whole company. It was great. And Jackie was one of our tech support reps. and she would receive calls from people local to our area and troubleshoot their problems. Well, we merged with a few companies, or purchased them, or, well, actually, I believe Voyager purchased us, and then they started merging all these different companies. And those company mergers, sorry, there's a guy parking next to me, and he's pretty erratic. So these companies brought in new states that we didn't really serve prior. One of the states that we served now, or the new as they merged, was Ohio. And we would get, I would say, an incredible amount of calls from Ohio customers that just didn't understand. That's the best way I can put it. I'm not going to be rude and generalize everyone, but the customers that would call in from Ohio, while they didn't necessarily fit a specific demographic, they certainly didn't know what they were doing. And computers were new back then, as far as getting on the internet, and all those technologies were very vague and complicated, and there were settings like IP addresses and DNS entries and dial-up numbers and protocols and negotiating speeds, and it wasn't all automatic like it is today, you young whippersnappers, where all you do is turn on Wi-Fi and pick a network. Long story short, too late, I know. So anyway, she would get an amazing amount of calls because her shift just happened to be kind of like a prime time slot or block for Ohio-based customers. And so there were many a nights when she would be outside smoking, and she would just vent about how much she hated Ohio. She hated the people, she hated the state, she hated the weather, she hated the location of it geographically, she hated everything about it. Everything! So one day she decided to do something about it. So she got a map of Ohio. She, cleaned it all up and just got the map and whatever. And she put the state of Ohio on eBay for sale. She wanted to sell eBay to a foreign country or somebody outside of the US so that she would not have to deal with Ohio people as US citizens, as people that could call her as whatever. And it started out as a joke, and it was a funny haha, and we all went on eBay and we saw, oh my god, Jackie actually got the state of Ohio on eBay for sale. And she started the bidding at something insanely small, like, I don't know, like $1.50 or something like that. But people started bidding on it. And we thought it was a joke. We thought it was people in the office bidding on it. No, these were actual people that saw her ad and for whatever reason misinterpreted, I am selling the state of Ohio, to mean something else, like a game piece or maybe a map or something. But the long and the short of it is, she, up until about 2 days before the bidding was to end, she had the state of Ohio on eBay for sale. And I had a dream about that. I had a dream about that whole scenario, that whole situation, conversations that we had years ago. And you know what's funny is that I remember it foggy, very foggy in my brain. It's extremely foggy, but in my dream it was clear as crystal. And for all I know, it could have been Iowa instead of Ohio, because I always get those two confused. But the point of the matter is, this dream felt so real and so heartfelt, and I woke up crushed. Because I kind of, you know how when you wake up from a dream and you kind of still think you're in it a little bit? I woke up in mid-conversation with her. And she wasn't there, of course. I was in my bedroom at Bill's house. And it's just, that's how death affects me. The tangibility of life and death, or the circle of life, or whatever you want to call it, I get it. I mean, I understand how it works logically. I understand how it works emotionally. And I think throughout the years, I've done a pretty good job of separating some of my emotional responses, or emotional emotions towards things or towards people. I think I've been able to fairly easily compartmentalize them. Like, I know the people I love, I know the people I care for, I know the people I would walk in front of a bus for. I don't know why that's a thing, but I would do it. Or take a bullet for, or whatever. I know the people that are the first people I want to call when something goes wrong. I know who I love, I know who I like, I know who fits into different buckets within my life and social structure and emotional circles. And it's going to be hard for me to say this because it makes me sound kind of like a dick. But my mom, for a very long time, was pushed pretty far outside that circle. As my family will attest, at least my sisters, we had it pretty hard growing up. I'm not justifying any way people turned out because of it or anything like that, but what I will say is that we did have it hard. We were very poor. My mom made some mistakes in her life, as well as in her responses to raising her kids. But we all, we persevered, or we made it through, we did it well. And we're all in a pretty good place nowadays. Everybody's pretty stable. But there's a lot of things about my mom that I pushed her away a lot because I didn't want her in my life. She felt toxic to me. She was deliberately sabotaging herself health-wise. She was a bitch all the time, sarcastic and sassy and combative, and she was highly medicated, so that had a lot of effect on things. But it was kind of one of those things where I had to do a lot of stuff myself growing up. I had to pay bills for the house, and I taught myself how to drive, and I paid for driving school, and I bought my first car on my own. A lot of the stuff that, and I know those are tangible things, but a lot of stuff that you need your mom for, she just wasn't somebody I could rely on. And so other family members and close friends took that bucket or that slot. They filled that spot that she was supposed to be there for. And I love her, I do. I mean, I can't deny that I love her. But I didn't like her a lot of ways, or a lot of the time. I really didn't like her. I didn't feel comfortable around her. I had a wall all the time around her. And so now that this life status is happening, I still have that wall, I still feel like Like when you hear about an actor dying or something like that, it's kind of distant. But then I do things like I have to coordinate her cremation, and I have to go to her house and go through her stuff and visit her in a hospital where invariably she will die. And there are times when I get choked up about it, but I don't know how to cry for her yet. Like, I get a little choked up and I get a little verklempt. And I'm certainly not immune to the effects of the emotional shit that goes on with regards to dealing with a death. But anyway, so that's where I'm at. I wanted you guys all to know and to hear my little funny story about Ohio and Jackie. And I guess I'll pretty much keep everybody updated on Facebook what's going on. But alright, I'll talk to you later. Thanks.